So you've been recording videos for some time now and you want to upgrade your quality to the next level. And today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you solve these problems and I'm going to tell you what is the best and most budget option out there on the market right now, in my personal opinion. And I've done a lot of research looking into this because even when I started this channel, I used an iPhone 6s and well, now I'm out here using this camera. So I want to share that. I want to share my experience. I want to share some other cameras that I looked at and kind of compare what is good versus what is bad. And yeah, hopefully I can help you guys make a decision. So without further ado, let's stop wasting time and let's get right into the video.
Wanna round me, catch about me, go get out me, yeah. Shawty, I'm a riding G, I'm a dime piece, I'm a ride.
Quickly, before I actually get into the advice, I want to ask you guys, what do you think of the thumbnail on this video? I just switched from using Canva to Photoshop, and this is the first time where I really tried to use Photoshop for myself. So let me know what you guys think of the thumbnail in the comment section down below. It would help me out a lot because, well, I'm still trying to grow. I'm trying to get as much advice and overall see how much better my channel could get over time. So anyway, with that being said, let's actually get into the core of this video. The camera that I'm talking about is the Canon SL2. Now this camera is absolutely amazing. It's a DSLR, it weighs about 1 pound, and overall it's just perfect. It has every piece of functionality that you could imagine. There's so many pros that come with this, and I'm gonna get into each like bullet point of what makes it so good and what makes it so useful and how you could use this to your benefit. So yeah, let's get right into it. For starters, you should probably hit that like button to help the YouTube algorithm. But seriously, number one, it's a DSLR, which means that you can use any lenses that you could put on any few $1,000 camera, and you could put it on this one as well. So example, I know somebody that has a Canon 70D, and with that, it's a lot more expensive. It cost about $2,000 at the time when it came out, and I could use the same lenses and equipment that that person is using on my camera, which this one only cost a few $100s. So it's really worth it in the aspect of you can get a wide angle lens, you can use the stock lens if you want, or anything like that, and you can get so many different results just because it's a DSLR. So example, I used to use the Canon G7X, which is known as like the typical vlogging camera because it has the flip screen, which this one also has a screen that comes out, but I'll talk about that later. And basically the main point was just how fast the face tracking is. So when you look at this one, it's a DSLR that also only weighs 1 pound, which also I'm going to talk about the pros of that later. But what I'm trying to say here is the G7X has a stock lens and you cannot change it. You can't change anything about it. It's always going to be the exact same shot. So this one has a lot more versatility, a lot more options, where instead of spending $1,000 on the camera, you're spending a few hundred to get so many more options. In my opinion, I should have bought this one originally. Number two, it's light. Like I said, it weighs about 1 pound, which in turn means that you can hold it and vlog. You can also put on a GorillaPod, which actually becomes cheaper because the GorillaPod prices go in how heavy the camera is. So the fact that it's not that heavy means you could get a pretty cheap one and it's going to hold the camera perfectly. You don't have to worry about it falling or breaking or anything because the camera itself is very light, very portable. You can put it in a backpack, you can put it anywhere, and honestly, you don't even feel like it's actually adding any weight. It's super convenient because, well, instead of having to hold it with 2 hands and like figure everything out, you can really just hold it with 1 hand and vlog your whole experience. To add to that, there's so many different tripod options and GorillaPod options because since the camera is so small and so light, you can find a lot of options of like where to put it to find really nice shots that most people can't get because you would need a smaller camera and their DSLR does not fit there. So surprise, this actually has bonuses. Tip number 3, it has a flip screen. So instead of what the G7X had, which was basically a camera that you could flip up and it holds by 2 screws, this one has a whole bunch of options where you can move it to the side, you can curve it a bit, you can move it completely to the other side so that way it's facing you, or anything like that. And I know that when I was starting out, this was something that was really important to me because I didn't want to invest in getting a cable that's an HDMI to camera, and then from there I had to buy like the small little screen to like hang up on the tripod while I'm recording. It's just a mess, as you can tell. So unless you're super serious about it, I'd recommend just getting a camera that has a flip screen already to start with. So this one is super convenient. Like I said, there's a lot of options and a lot of movements that you guys can actually do, so you don't have to worry about it as much. Example, my G7X, the actual screen part broke multiple times, so it's not really the greatest comparison, but I mean, hey, that camera is like almost double the price. So you really have to weigh your options here. Pause. Post notification shout out goes to these two people. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want a shout out, I'm putting 10 seconds on the clock. Go like the video, subscribe, turn notifications on, and comment done when you have finished that. So you have 10 seconds, go do it, and you'll get a shout out in the next video. Anyway, let's continue. Number 4, the settings. Now, this is a whole ball game of its own. Now, this camera has so many options that it kind of surprises me. Normally, to find this type of mix of aperture, ISO, and everything while keeping the quality as good as it does, you would need a more expensive camera. You would need something that is genuinely a full-out DSLR, like wild beast, cost a few thousand. This one's only a few hundred and you have all these options in it. So imagine just saving on all of that. A quality difference that most people won't even notice. A lot of people aren't able to tell what camera is cheaper versus what camera is expensive and why. So this is something that I personally love because even on photo shoots, I'm able to do a lot of creative work simply thanks to the settings on this camera. Now, as well as this camera lets you shoot time lapses, it lets you change the frames to 24 if you want to have a little bit more of a cinematic shot. It lets you put up to 60 FPS if you need to like slow-mo a clip or anything like that. And overall, you can mess around with this camera for so long and figure it out and play and just have fun because at the end of the day, normally a lot of people just keep it automatic, but if you want to take your skills to the next level, if you want to take your quality to the next level, this camera is amazing for learning how to actually, well, take pictures and videos because you have all the settings needed and you can go at your own rate. You can set it up the way that you want so that after a while, you can just have it in manual and get the shot that you really want. Number 5, Wi-Fi compatibility. Now this camera has a little Wi-Fi button on the top. And basically what this does is, let's say you want to transfer a photo to your phone, you can do it over Wi-Fi, so you don't have to actually get an SD card out and put it and transfer it and anything like that. Instead, you can actually just do it through Wi-Fi, but if you're transferring videos, I'd recommend using the actual SD card anyway because it's going to save you a lot of time. Wi-Fi normally takes a good amount of time to transfer each file, so if you're looking for efficiency, obviously the traditional route is amazing, but the fact that it has this option really saves me time if I ever just want to transfer a picture from the camera onto my phone to send to somebody. Example, one time I was on a photo shoot and right after I took the picture, transferred it to my phone and sent it to them right away because they just wanted the raw picture like that. So yeah, it's very convenient, saves you a lot of time, and trust me, you will enjoy this feature. Tip number 6, a microphone jack. So you're actually able to hook up a microphone onto the top of the camera like any big DSLR camera does. So if you want, you can put a shotgun mic, or you can put any camera mic that you really want. Example, if you want one that's for when you're filming outside so you don't hear the wind. If you want, like I said, a shotgun mic or anything like that, you actually have all the options. On the side, you have the little microphone jack, as well as you have the hook on top to actually clip it in. So once again, this camera is amazing because cameras like the G7X, for example, don't even have that feature, so you can't even upgrade your quality by that much. This one lets you completely customize and make your content your own. It can make you get better over time and overall help you in the long run. Finally, the last thing I want to mention is the size. Now I spoke about this briefly in tip number 2, but the size of this camera is really mini. Imagine a miniature Canon 70D. It's literally something that could fit perfectly in your hand, and overall you can carry very easily. It doesn't take up too much space, it's super convenient, and that alone is a good reason to get the camera because sometimes, let's say you're traveling or let's say you're going anywhere, this camera is something really easy to take, really easy to hold, and you won't get tired of holding your arm out because, well, example, if you're using a heavier camera, it's gonna feel like a workout after a while. If you're holding like a 5-pound camera like this for 30 minutes, it gets tough. I know that for sure because, well, I've experienced it and you don't want that. So the fact that this camera is so small and so convenient really helps me out a lot. So as a starting camera, this is probably the best option on the market. All right, I've looked at so many different cameras over time and I genuinely find that this camera is the absolute best camera to start off with. Now with all that being said, I want to wish you good luck with your equipment upgrades, and if you do decide to get this camera, all I'm going to ask is that you use the link in my description. It's not sponsored by Canon or anything like that, but I do have an Amazon affiliate link, which means that Amazon pays me for any products that people buy if I recommend them. So if you click on the link and you get the camera through that, Amazon's going to pay me for basically referring somebody there. It's not through Canon and it's not sponsored at all. It's just something that would help me out a lot. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a like, share it with a friend, subscribe, and if you watched all the way to here, then comment your favorite color. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.